Coming to you live from the Bernardian Bowl at the St. Bernard's Athletic Complex off of John Fitch Highway in Fitchburg. It is Fitchburg Access Television's coverage of St. Bernard's Bernardians football as they get ready to take on the Crusaders of Groton-Dunstable for the first game of the 2021 regular season. I am John Gugerty, joined by Dan Bullock. You see there the Bernardians getting ready to take the field. And Dan, as they do so, they get ready for a rematch from earlier this year against the Crusaders.
Just like they're opening up tonight against Groton-Dunstable, it was back in March on the 20th of 2021 in the Fall 2 season that these two teams took to the field at Neshoba Valley Tech in Westford for the first game of the Fall 2 season. So it is a rematch, the second time these two teams are playing football against each other in 2021. And back on March the 20th, it was St. Bernard's taking the victory by a score of 27-14. Tyler Thibodeau had 180 yards. He had a 5-yard touchdown on 21 carries. Damian Jones had an 83-yard kickoff return for a touchdown and 2 interceptions. PJ Feely and Antonio Mancini adding rushing scores for St. Bernard's, helped make the difference there. Kyle Ploss had a rushing touchdown for Groton-Dunstable, and Finn Bernard found Jack Berry for a score. We'll see Bernard tonight for Groton-Dunstable. What a fitting name for an opposition player against St. Bernard's. As you can see, the Groton-Dunstable team there, 60 strong, making their way from the Groton-Dunstable line.
It's a big disparity in terms of roster size, Dan. You mentioned 60 players dressed for Groton-Dunstable. Obviously not all of them are going to be seeing action. We've already seen a couple of guys who were there in jerseys. You see the guy in the shorts, just the gym shorts, he's probably not going to play. We probably won't be seeing Colin Taylor on the field much, but you know, still 60 guys dressed for Groton-Dunstable against just 43 for St. Bernard's. Captains are heading towards midfield. Captains for St. Bernard's, left to right. So you've got number 10, Damian Jones. We've already mentioned him. Number 1, Antonio Mancini. 58 is Darnell Woodson. And then on the far right is number 27, Danny Mueller. On the other side for the Crusaders, it looks like their captains are number 1, Ryan Smythe. 25 is Tommy Raymond. And to his left, 24, is the kicker, Hunter Wolfrey. Teams are getting ready for the coin toss here. Presuming, you know, somebody brought change. Oh my God, I think they're actually doing rock, paper, scissors. Maybe that's just the backup plan in case they lose the coin.
Or they bring a double-sided coin.
That would be cheating.
That'd be a terrible idea.
St. Bernard's against the Crusaders. It's one of the most religious matchups of the year, and you're going to involve cheating? The game hasn't even started yet. How dare you?
What's interesting is Groton-Dunstable's a public high school. There's no religion to it at all.
Of course not.
They just chose the Crusader name because they thought it was cool.
It's a pretty cool name. So St. Bernard's will kick for the first half. Groton-Dunstable in the white jerseys will get the ball to begin the game. We will step aside for the national anthem and bring you all the action from the Bernardian Bowl. If you're watching us live on FATV, still plenty of good seats available here. Come on down. But hey, if you don't want to, your couch is comfier, we understand. Dan Bullock and I will have the call for you, but again, we will step aside for the national anthem. It's St. Bernard's High School football right here on FATV.
In your St. Bernard's Bernardians. Ladies and gentlemen, as we come together tonight for this athletic event, we ask that all fans please rise to recognize a moment of silence. On September 11, 2001, the United States of America was attacked in an unprecedented fashion, leading to the deaths of over 3,000 men and women in New York City, Virginia, and Pennsylvania. At this time, we all pause for a moment of silence and remembrance of those lost on this day in 2001. Please stay standing for the playing of our national anthem.
St. Bernard's High School football here on FATV. I'm John Gugerty, joined as always by Dan Bullock. And Dan, was a moment of silence observed just now in recognition of the obviously the 20th anniversary of the terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001. Of course, tomorrow afternoon, the actual anniversary, we will be probably most certainly observing that as well at the campus of Fitchburg State University. It's going to be something. I don't really have a good throw out of that, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to think about. I mean, I remember saying, boy, I'm looking forward to the Falcons home opener on September 11, 2021. Oh, my goodness, this sounds horrible when you think about it and say it out loud.
It's a difficult time, some difficult memories, to say the least, but there is the matter of a football game, and we should have a very good one on our hands here, Dan. The Bernardians again taking on the Crusaders of Groton-Dunstable. A couple divisions up, but again, you know, the divisions in the new division structure mostly based on size. You know, you think, you know, on paper, a D5 team taking on a D7 team, maybe a bit of a mismatch in favor of Groton-Dunstable. I don't think that's going to be the case.
Not necessarily. In fact, even last year, when you go by last year's division, St. Bernard's was Division 8, Groton-Dunstable was Division 4, but it's not like St. Bernard's had much in terms of issues dealing with it.
St. Bernard's did indeed defeat Groton-Dunstable. Opening kickoff for the Bernardians is away. Short kick bounces at about the 22-yard line. Yardage is going to be, you know, a bit of a guess tonight. We apologize. We'll do our best. A really nice return here for Groton-Dunstable. This is Hunter Wolfrey taking it. He's finally brought down at about the 25-yard line. Wolfrey did a lot of running around looking for a lane there, Dan. Didn't really find much. Got a few yards on it. It'll be 1st and 10 for Groton-Dunstable at their own 25.
They were just, yeah, that was Wolfrey just looking for somewhere to go, moving around, trying to find room to work with. You know, he spun out of a tackle, did well to do that, but nonetheless, it's going to be the Crusaders starting from the 25-yard line, a 5-yard return.
First down pitch goes to Wolfrey, running to his right. Good blocking ahead of him. He's got the first down and a bit more. Gets out to about the 39 before he's finally brought down. One play and will already stop the clock, move the chains. It's a first down for the Crusaders.
Good start there for the Bernardians there. And yes, Wolfrey just finding that right side there, finding some room there, and got 14 yards on the ground. A great start for the Crusaders.
Crusaders led to the line by their quarterback. Looks like that's Finn Bernard, number 18. We've mentioned him already. Wolfrey takes the pitch to the left this time on first down, and this time there's not much there. Blown up in the backfield. I think the first guy there was Harvey Early, and he was right on time as he got behind the line of scrimmage and dragged him down. Maybe a gain of a yard. Call it 2nd down and 9.
They'll spot it right at the 40-yard line. And as we mentioned, yes, the Not too much in terms of guidance there in the middle of the field there with the hash marks, but we'll do the best we can.
We will do the best we can, and you will forgive me if we have a little bit of guesswork going on when it's between those 5-yard lines. Second down handoff goes to Wolfrey to his right. He's going to lose a couple. He runs into an entire church full of Bernardians as he's driven back down. Call it a loss. Yeah, we'll give it 2.5-yard loss, right in the middle there.
Something like that. Of course, the problem is if you go 2.5, you've got to round in some direction.
Fine. It's 3rd and 12. Happy?
Okay.
Okay.
So that's how we'll roll there. Just Wolfrey right now doing all the work. Let's see if they'll change it up here on 3rd down.
Groton-Dunstable back to pass is Bernard under pressure. He'll keep it himself. Goes forward, gets a few, but it's a good open field tackle for St. Bernard's. I believe that was Isaiah Jeffries who made the hit. It's a gain of about 5, but he needed 12. We'll take a look at it again.
And that was Bernard doing well to improvise, found some room up the middle. You could see there Jeffries matching up well, taking him down and preventing him from getting to the marker. And
terrible snap. It rolls back to Wolfrey, who kicks it away well, taken in at about the 29 for St. Bernard's.
It's Damian Jones.
Jones is back across midfield before finally being steered out of bounds. There is a flag down, however, back around the 38. Early speculation is that it would be a block in the back against the Bernardians. Say that 3 times fast.
Instinctively looking for a replay, but yeah, right. I don't think I'm going to get one.
It's a hold against St. Bernard's. So they'll assess that 10 yards from the spot of the foul. St. Bernard's will keep the ball, but they lose a good chunk of yardage after the penalty. Was going to be great field position for them, Dan. Still pretty good. We'll see where they march it off from. Looks like they're going to start from the 38. So St. Bernard's will be just inside their own 30-yard line as they get the ball for the first time this season.
He ended up taking it in at the 29, so it says if it was a fair catch, it'd be a 1-yard loss from the fair catch, essentially, is how they can spot that.
1st and 10 for St. Bernard's. Their quarterback, Chris McGurk, takes the ball on 1st down, hands off to his right. Spinning out of a tackle is Mancini, trying to find something. Finally brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Loss of about a yard. We'll call it a loss of 2. It'll be 2nd and 12 for St. Bernard's after the negative gain by Mancini.
And good effort there by Derek Liedberg to get that first touch there to slow Mancini down. And there's the tag team duo there for Groton-Dunstable making the tackle. Will Vogel, one of the 2 there.
You know, Dan, we were talking with Todd, Kate, and Bill doing the call for WPKZ before the game, and they were saying, it's great that you've got the whole roster, but as long as you know Damian Jones, you'll be fine. That first play went to Mancini, however. It's Jones, the ball carrier, on 2nd down, following his blocks, spins out to his right, fighting for more yardage, chooses not to go out of bounds, gets hit. Looks like they're going to spot him around the 34. It's a good gain. It'll bring up a more manageable 3rd down. Call it 3rd and 5.
Damian Jones has such explosive speed. He's shown it off so many times on kickoff returns, interceptions, and running the ball as well. He is difficult to stop and an absolute weapon in the backfield for St. Bernard's as he made his way to the 35.
Jones there running behind the blocking of J.L. Berdicia, one of the big bodies on the offensive line. Back to Mancini on 3rd down. He slipped as he took the handoff. Couldn't really get anything going after that. Fought forward for a pretty good game, though. It's going to be, actually, that is enough for a 1st down. Move the chains, 1st down, St. Bernard's.
Spot it between the 39 and the 40-yard line. And they needed the 39 for first.
I think you can safely call that, that's nose on the 40-yard line. So 1st and 10 at the 40. Sure, that works.
And at least that means they can set the downs right on the lines, more or less.
Handoff goes to Mancini on 1st down. Picks up a couple. 2-3 yards. Now, Dan, this is going to be an old reference. Mike Flynn would yell at me for this one. but I remember back in the day playing Madden 94 on the Sega Genesis, and they would have the near and the far formation. And right now, St. Bernard's is running the far. They've got a tailback directly behind the quarterback and one lined up to the other side of him. Haven't seen that formation in a long time. Second down pitch goes to Jones on the left side. Breaks out of the first tackle into the open field, into Crusader territory, across the 40-yard line before he's finally dragged down. There is another flag down, however, back toward the initial line of scrimmage. Possible that Jones was aided illegally, and indeed the side judge has already indicated it's a hold. There you go, holding against St. Bernard's. So the second time today, Dan, that Damian Jones takes St. Bernard's into Crusader territory only for a holding penalty to bring it back onto the Bernardian side of the field.
Not a strong show of discipline there. Brings the ball back to the 35-yard line.
And because it's a downfield hold, I believe the officials are indicating it should be second down. But it is 15 to gain. Handoff comes to Jones running to the near side, and he is brought down from behind. Ryan Smythe snuck up behind him, had the speed to catch up with him.
Well read there by the Groton-Dunstable defense, and now brings up a 3rd and long.
You'll see Smythe, he was coming from the defensive right side, and he just chases down the ball carrier. Jones is doing, we talked about it last night with Anthony Oquendo. He's not turning on full speed. He's looking for his blocks. He's trying to find a lane. That gave Smythe the time to come in from behind and bring him down. Chain Gain has corrected their error. They show 3rd down correctly now. 3rd and 12 for St. Bernard's. They're at their own 38. They need to get to midfield to move those chains. McGurk back to press, under pressure from Smythe, finally dumps it off. Vaguely in the area of Harvey Early. And I think the officials will let him get away with not calling that intentional grounding. But there was no way that Early was going to make that reception, Dan. Smythe was all over the quarterback.
Yeah, McGurk, that's the first time we've seen him drop back to pass. First time we've seen that opportunity in just a matter of, he didn't have the time to do much of anything. Just immediately under pressure.
Really no chance at all to get that throw away for Chris McGurk. St. Bernard's will punt. Teams have exchanged kicks. This is a very good one. Bouncing at the 20, taking a St. Bernard's roll. It's going to be picked up at the 6, and Wolfrey is dragged down inside his own 5-yard line. A fantastic punt for St. Bernard's. I believe that was Douglas Dyer who made the kick. Just a wonderful punt by Dyer, and then I kind of question the wisdom, Dan, of Hunter Wolfrey picking that ball up at his own 6-yard line.
Definitely challenging there, and now we have a look at it again.
That's a great punt.
With the bounce and all, it goes 57 yards officially.
57-yard punt. Wolfrey credited for no gain on the return. Groton-Dunstable takes over 1st and 10 at their own 6. Handoff goes to the right side. I believe this is Wolfrey once again. He plows forward through the line and is brought down just shy of the 10-yard line. That was indeed Hunter Wolfrey, the ball carrier. The senior goes 5'8", 150.
I do recall him appearing on the roster there ice hockey-wise. He and I believe his brother Caden, both members of the ice hockey team for Groton-Dunstable.
We were talking about that before the game. There's a good number of these Crusaders who play on the ice as well.
And I know St. Bernard's has Nick Tomzak, who's a hockey player as well.
2nd down 7 for Groton-Dunstable. Wolfrey the carry to his left side, and he gets absolutely nowhere. Darnell Woodson, the first guy in the backfield. He had plenty of help with him. Groton-Dunstable unable to move the ball at all there. We'll take another look at this one.
You can only give the ball to Wolfrey so many times before they start to catch on. Looks like Darnell Woodson, as you mentioned, I think was the first to arrive there for the Crusaders. No, for the Bernardians, you know what I mean. But it's a loss of 1 yard and brings up a 3rd and 7.
3rd down and 7. They need to get out to their own 15-yard line. Do the Crusaders of Groton-Dunstable. Back to pass, throw is high to the right and broken up. Incomplete. It was intended for Ryan Smythe. I believe the coverage there for St. Bernard's was provided by Dom Bedoin.
I think it was Damian Jones actually who broke it up.
Well, there you go, Damian Jones.
Yep.
Pass broken up by Damian Jones.
Brings up 4th down, and Jones, as we mentioned, is absolutely dangerous defensively as well. He's a corner, and he's had a couple of pick sixes, I remember, from the Fall 2 season. We also mentioned the kickoff return for the touchdown as well when these two teams faced each other back in March.
Low line drive kick picked up by Jones after dropping it initially. He's across the 30, 25, 20, still on his feet, looking to get out of tackles, spins across the 15-yard line. Damian Jones with about a 25-yard return gives the Bernardians excellent field position, 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. They're already inside the red zone.
Damian Jones takes it to the 15-yard line.
So a great return for Jones.
4:11 to play here in the 1st quarter. St. Bernard's looking to get their first points of the season. Groton-Dunstable looking to avoid conceding not only their first points, but, an interesting little bit of trivia, Dan. They're approaching 3,000 points both allowed and scored all time in their program's history. 1st down handoff goes straight up the middle. It's a really good gain. Going to be just short of the 1st down, but it's a pickup of about 8 for Antonio Mancini.
In both cases, they're less than 14 points away.
This is just a simple fullback dive straight up the middle, but I think the threat of Damian Jones has opened up those lanes for Mancini, at least on that play. He was able to get 8 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 2 for St. Bernard's.
Got to get to the 5 for a first, 5 more beyond that for 6.
Jones takes the sweep to the left, cuts upfield. He's across the 5, and he is in. Touchdown, St. Bernard's. They take the lead.
And a flag comes in at the very end as well. I think that was after Jones got into the end zone.
Flag definitely came in after the initial signal of touchdown. Might be a celebration penalty, might be something that we saw. We'll take a look at the call here. It's a dead ball personal foul against Groton-Dunstable. So that presumably will be enforced on the kickoff. St. Bernard's will attempt the extra point.
St. Bernard's for the extra point.
Nick Tomzak on to attempt. He'll be kicking out of a hold from Salvi Bellata. High snap, but Bellata gets it down. Kick is up. It's definitely high enough, and it is through. So with 3:25 to play here in the 1st quarter of action, St. Bernard's leads this one 7-0 over Groton-Dunstable.
Kick is good. 7-0 Bernardians.
And with that personal foul, the kickoff's going to come on that 45-yard line on the other side of the field. Now that's a question that comes up, and when you have that position to kick off, do you try an onside kick there?
I don't see the harm. I mean, if you're going to be kicking off with an extra 15-yard advantage. Well, while St. Bernard's makes that decision, and while we have a moment, we want to thank the underwriters who make this and every production possible here on FATV. FATV's remote productions are underwritten by Workers Credit Union, Rollstone Bank and Trust, the UMass Memorial Health Alliance Clinton Hospital, North End Subaru, Unitil, Minuteman Press, and the Sentinel and Enterprise. Dan, there was very little Groton-Dunstable's defense could do on that drive, backed up at their own 15 when they had possession for the first time.
Definitely a challenge there for the Crusader defense. Only 15 yards between the Bernardians and Pater, but ultimately, Damian Jones and Anthony Mancini playing well on the ground game, and now we see the kickoff, and it's just a low line drive.
Low bouncing line drive kick. They were trying to pin Groton-Dunstable short, but it ultimately goes into the end zone for a touchback. Groton-Dunstable will take over 1st and 10 for them as they look to answer St. Bernard's scoring drive with one of their own. Folks, we want to let you know that in addition to our live streams on the internet, you can now watch FATV programming in stunning high definition on your Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV devices, or through our apps in the Android and Apple stores. Download your free app today to learn more on how to watch FATV programming. Just go to fatv.org/watch-FATV. Motion to the far side goes Smythe on 1st down, and Smythe gets the carry on the jet sweep. Looking to turn the corner, pretty well contained by St. Bernard's. They'll tackle him inbounds after a gain of about 5. Still a pretty positive play, though, for Groton-Dunstable. Dan, I think if you're head coach Tom Souza, you'll take 5 yards on 1st down.
It was time to try something different there for the Crusaders. They've been feeding Hunter Wolfrey so much, 5 carries for 15 yards. Again, time to try something else there, 5-yard carry for Ryan Smythe.
They give him a gain of 6 on the field, so we'll call it 2nd down and 4 now for Groton-Dunstable. There you see Mr. Smythe. He's a senior. 2nd down handoff goes back to Wolfrey, going right up the gut, and they went away from it from one play, Dan, and St. Bernard's didn't think they were going to go away from it again. They had that one sniffed out.
Obviously, Tom Souza and Groton-Dunstable want to just keep feeding Hunter Wolfrey the rock. The problem is, there's only so much one man can do.
They actually call that a loss of a yard, so now it's 3rd and 5 for the Crusaders. They've had to punt on each of their first 2 possessions, looking to avoid a 3-and-out here. This time it's a pitch to the near side. Wolfrey is thrown backwards, not knocked down. There comes the 2nd hit. My goodness, what a blast. Brady Spidell came in, delivered the final blow. It's a big, big loss. Take a look at this one, Dan.
As Wolfrey tries to make his way to the left side, he just can't get to the flank quickly enough. First to arrive there was Harvey Early, and then as you mentioned, it was Spidell with the finisher to knock him all the way back to the 16-yard line.
Another low bouncing snap, but a good job getting the kick away by Wolfrey. Jones picks it up running backwards inside his own 45, but he is untouched across the Crusader 40, the 30, 25, 20, still on his feet. 10, cuts it back, 5, touchdown St. Bernard's, and there are no flags on the field.
13-0 Grenadians.
Damian Jones with a 56-yard punt return extends the lead to 13. We were talking about the explosivity that he brings to the St. Bernard's offense. He brings it here in special teams with the punt return touchdown. He was almost untouched, Dan.
He's done that before, and he'll do it again if you let him. And Damian Jones, it's like just showing off all of those moves, switching speed, switching direction. He found the path he needed and brought it across for another 6 for the Bernardians.
Now the snap this time goes through the holder's hands, and the officials are just going to blow the play dead. I'm not quite sure why, but no good.
Knee was on the ground, they say.
He didn't have possession of the ball, though. Don't you have to have possession of the ball? Isn't that a thing? I don't know. We saw it last night at the Fitchburg-Leominster game as well. Anyway, St. Bernard's extends their lead 13-0. And Dan, you hear the expression "outkick your coverage." That is the perfect example, I think. You know, Hunter Wolfrey did a pretty good job driving his leg through that ball, but he kicked it so deep, Nate Jones was able to build up, Damian Jones, excuse me. Damian Jones was able to build up a huge head of steam. He really did outkick his coverage on that one.
Just well done there, how he was able to bring it all the way back. And now Groton-Dunstable playing out of a bigger hole there. It's the second straight time that Damian Jones has had a kickoff, this time a punt return for a touchdown. And there's Wolfrey back ready to receive the kick.
He just kicked it away, and now they'll be kicking it to him. I'm Hunter Wolfrey has had to do everything for Groton-Dunstable, and it's not really his fault, but everything's going wrong for the Crusaders at the moment. Tomzad's kick is picked up by Wolfrey on the bounce at about the 18. Takes it out to the 30 before he's finally hit. Spins out of one tackle, but he's going to be brought down at about the 32-yard line. Groton-Dunstable will take over 1st and 10 with exactly 1 minute to play here in the first quarter of action. And while we are here at the beautiful Bernardian Bowl, we also want to let you know about historic Crocker Field, which is recognized for its beauty and listed on the National Register of Historical Places, and it needs your help. We'll tell you a little bit more about that as we can. 1st and 10 for Groton-Dunstable here at their own 32-yard line. Back to pass is Bernard. Dumps it off on a screen this time, finding more creative ways to get it in the hands of Hunter Wolfrey. This one's a little more productive. Picks up a 1st down and a little bit more. Mark him out at about the 45. So Dan, if it's not working on the ground, go to him through the air.
Gets to the 44-yard line on that one. It's a 12-yard gain. That's the first completed pass we've had tonight. And yeah, it's time for St. Bernard's, time for Groton-Dunstable to try to change things up a little bit. Can't just keep giving it to Wolfrey diving up the middle, because we know that's not working too well for them right now.
Bernard did a good job there, just, let the rush come, let the rush come. You know you're going to dump it off. Smythe goes in motion to the far side. They did that jet sweep once before, no dice here. And we get whistles and a flag. Think maybe delay of game. Didn't see anybody jump. So we'll check the penalty here. It is a false start against Groton-Dunstable. So the Crusaders get one nice big positive play, but they're backed up for another 5-yard loss.
At least it was after they got the 1st down, but it will make it 1st and 15.
1st and 15 for Groton-Dunstable at their own 40-yard line now. I don't believe, Dan, that the Crusaders have had the ball in Bernardian territory.
Seems about right. They've only got 27 yards of offense tonight in this contest.
Pitch goes to Wolfrey on the right side. He's got great blocking. He's got a 1st down and more. No, he stepped out of bounds. You see Hunter Wolfrey slam the ball into his hand in frustration there. He knew, he thought he was gone. He broke out of that last tackle, but he did step out of bounds in doing so. We'll see if we can spot it here on the replay.
Did get exactly the distance he needed for the 1st down, though, so he steps out right where the marketers. Boy, the Chain Crews had a lot of diving out of the way they've had to do tonight, haven't they?
You know a little bit about that, don't you?
Yeah, I know the experience.
Hey, I made it to the 2nd game of the season before referencing that time you got knocked on your butt.
Good thing it's not traumatic for me.
It's not, is it? Am I being
mean? No,
it's
not. Not at all.
Okay.
It's a fun memory.
1st and 10, Groton-Dunstable at the St. Bernard's 46-yard line. They are, in fact, in Bernardian territory for the first time today. Would you believe it? The handoff goes to Hunter Wolfrey on 1st down. He's hit pretty much immediately and brought down. They're going to call that a loss of about a yard. It'll be 2nd down and a long 11. Is there such a thing as a long 11?
I'd call it 12.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. 2nd and 12. I guess if it's a double-digit number, it's not really long. You just round up.
That's how I'm rolling with that. 40 yards of offense for Groton-Dunstable now. Interestingly enough, St. Bernard's 34 yards of offense, but of course you have a punt return for a touchdown and then a 15-yard touchdown drive. That's going to not allow the numbers to grow as big as you'd like them to.
Bernard looking long on 2nd down, passes high and a little bit overthrown, in fact. He was trying to hit Nate Bushnell. And if you're going to throw that long ball, it's better to overthrow it than underthrow it. But unfortunately for Groton-Dunstable, Finn Bernard did in fact overthrow that pass. Looked like Bushnell had a step, Dan.
That was one of those cases where only Bushnell was going to be able to catch that football. Unfortunately, it was beyond even his grasp.
That is the end of the first quarter here at the Bernardian Bowl. 13-0 the score in favor of St. Bernard's. And we mentioned historic Crocker Field earlier. We'll tell you a little bit more about that now. It's located in the heart of the community, built in 1918. This Central Massachusetts field has a fabled history in the hearts of Fitchburg High alumni and a magnificent future in the Fitchburg community. You can be part of the restoration efforts and donate today. To learn more about how you can help the Crocker Field Restoration Committee, just go online to crockerfield.org, or you can mail your donations to the Crocker Field Restoration Committee, 140 Arnhow Farm Road, Fitchburg, MAP 01420. And do not forget, folks, all donations are tax deductible. Dan, you mentioned it just in passing a moment ago. St. Bernard's looks to have a commanding lead. 13 points already on the board, a 2-score lead here at the end of the first quarter, but their offense hasn't exactly been firing on all cylinders either.
The running game has been, in fits and starts. Damian Jones, 4 carries for 19 yards. Antonio Mancini, 4 for 15 yards. That's the entirety of the offense thus far. But as we mentioned, numbers slightly deceiving because they haven't had to work too hard for those touchdowns on the offensive side, at least. The 15-yard touchdown drive capped by the score from Damian Jones, and then Jones bringing it back on the punt return.
It is an absolutely beautiful night here in Fitchburg. It's a bit unique for us. It's been a number of years, Dan, since I've called a game from here at the Bernardian Bowl, and I believe this is your first time. This is a heck of a view, ain't it?
Yep. It's funny how I live a stone's throw away from here, but I've never really had a reason to come out here.
The last time I was here, I was at the baseball field, just over that fence over there, umpiring a doubleheader.
Ooh.
That was fun.
Yep. Last time I was at this complex, I was at that baseball field calling a doubleheader of Fitchburg State baseball.
Well, now you are calling football, and here with the play-by-play call for the second quarter is, in fact, Mr. Dan Bolett.
All right, and so it's 3rd and 12 for the Crusaders. Bernard looking back to pass, looking to his right now, going to scramble. As he cuts to his right, he throws. It is complete on the right side around the 40-yard line. A lot of players coming in to wrap him up, as making that catch there was Harry Palmer for the Crusaders.
First time we've called Palmer's name today. He picked up a good gain, including yardage after the catch, but he still comes up 5 yards short. I mean, honestly, Dan, given the trouble Groton-Dunstable has had with their long snapping and the fact that they already face a 2-score deficit, I would kick it here, wouldn't you? No, rather, I would go for it here.
I think that would be a good idea here. Just because they're in Bernardian territory, it's absolutely worth the gamble. Got to get to the 36 for a first down.
And they are bringing the offense back out on the field.
So here it is, 4th down and 4 to go. Is that one thrown over the middle? It's caught by Smythe at the 20, the 10, 5, touchdown Crusaders. Just like that, Groton-Dunstable's got an answer, and they're on the board.
St. Bernard's sold out hard, Dan. They came on the blitz. They left just one safety deep. Smythe caught that pass on the crossing route, and once he caught it, he had an easy angle. You see there, Bernard does a good job. Smythe is wide open. There's one safety you see desperately rushing back to try to get in the play. But St. Bernard sent to the house, and their house just got burgled.
That's a 40-yard touchdown pass from Finn Bernard to find Ryan Smythe to get the Crusaders on the board. I was a bit slow to watch that one develop, especially since that was the moment that my spreadsheet decided to be uncooperative.
Well, technology.
So let's see what Groton-Dunstable wants to do. It looks like they want to go for 2. But we have whistles.
I believe it was the left defensive end for St. Bernard's just jumped across the line and jumped back. But we were talking about it last night with Mike on the FHS game. Once you jump across the line, the officials are trained here to blow the whistle, kill the play. So that's an encroachment penalty. It'll move it to, just inside the 2, I suppose.
So 1.5 yards it will be for 2 points. That's what Groton-Dunstable is shooting for here.
We talked with a couple of kids on the Crusader roster earlier today, Dan, before the game. They told us Wolfrey is the place kicker. I didn't see him warming up, though.
Now Bernard rolling out right side, floats that to the right corner. Nobody's there. In the corner, Toby Wells was in the vicinity, but far out of his reach, and the score remains 13-6.
Wells was definitely the closest guy to it, but that pass was well overthrown. So that's going to be something interesting to watch, Dan. If Groton-Dunstable just doesn't have, a place kicker they trust to even go for an extra point in the second quarter, I would have to assume they're going to be going for 2 for pretty much this entire game.
Does definitely make things a little interesting in terms of, game theory, the score, and the like. But, that's not a luxury every school gets to have, as someone who is a reliable kicker.
No, especially when you get down, at any level of high school play, but especially you get down into, Division 4, Division 5, something like where Groton-Dunstable is. They're a D5 team this year. It's not always a guarantee that you're going to have a kid who can put it through the uprights more often than not.
Wolfrey will still be kicking off nonetheless. He does just about everything for this Groton-Dunstable team, it so seems. 10:54 to go, second quarter, 13-6. St. Bernard's in front. That was a great drive for Groton-Dunstable to put points on the board. Damian Jones all the way back to receive. They'll let that roll to the 6-yard line where he'll pick it up. And Jones looking up the middle, stumbles a little bit, and now into the rush of players just past the 20-yard line. That's where the Bernardians will start this drive.
You mentioned it, Dan. Jones really lost his footing as he crossed the 15-yard line. Took away any real chance he had to make a big explosive return there. You see him just, take his time, let it bounce up to him, and then just as he's getting ready to make that cut, right there, lost his footing, put his hand on the ground. He was able to pick up a few more yards after that, but Groton-Dunstable was able to wrap him up. St. Bernard's will take over 1st and 10 at, call it the 22? 22 sounds about right?
22 is what I'm rolling with.
There you go, the 22.
So the handoff on first downs for Mancini, finds a hole up the middle, and gets past the 30-yard line. Pretty close to a first down. Not going to be given, but it's very close to it. Or will it be? I see the, sorry that I'm stepping all over you, but I'm looking at the headlinesman, and he's got 2 fingers up in the air. The chain crew wanted to move, but not so fast.
Yeah, I think the far member of the chain gang was thinking, okay, well, we're picking up the chains, moving downfield, and it's like, nope, wait, hold on. There's a chain attached to me. I can't go anywhere. Just a 9-yard gain. It'll be 2nd down and a yard.
Definitely manageable here, and up the middle. This is Mancini again, breaking through to midfield, and then caught by the shoestrings there. Reaching out and stopping the progress just enough was Tommy Raymond. Made Mancini lose his footing, and that saved big yards for the Crusaders.
A desperation tackle by Raymond there. This is a well-designed play. It's a nice deceptive handoff to the fullback. You see, he's got the defenders running backwards, turning around. He's got the angle. He would have been gone, and you see him punch the ground in frustration there. He knew it, too. Mancini would have been all the way to the house if it was not for the grab of Tommy Raymond, and now we have a timeout on the field.
So timeout with exactly 10 minutes to go in the first half of play. 13-6, St. Bernard's in front. Now Groton-Dunstable up to 88 yards of offense. St. Bernard's up to 67. I think that was their biggest play of the night, 24 yards for Antonio Mancini. That's just in terms of yardage, not so much in terms of impact, though.
While we have a moment here, folks, we want to let you know that Fitchburg Access Television, easy for me to say. It's not like the thing I say most often on Fitchburg Access Television is your local access TV station. If you live, work, go to school, or are a member of a Fitchburg organization, you can become a member of FATV. Membership brings many benefits and gives you access to all of FATV's equipment, including cameras, audio and lighting equipment, edit suites, studios, and so much more, including the newest addition, the FATV Podcast Suite. We offer technical training classes to teach you how to create your own program. You can reserve channel time to broadcast your program to the Fitchburg community and beyond. Visit fatv.org for more details and start producing your own show today. I had a show on FATV once. Well, I put a movie on FATV once. Where's that camera pointed at us? It's down there somewhere.
It's down there, and hilariously, for the second straight night, there's an obstruction in my way.
It's the pole. See, the camera's on the truck. I can see it now.
Yeah.
And I have the director in my headset telling me where it is. Hello, everybody. But of course, there's a pull.
So up the middle this time on first down. And Damian Jones with the run to get about 8.
This two-headed rushing attack for St. Bernard's, Dan, is really developing as this game goes on. You know, Mancini had a little bit of trouble in the early going, getting it going, but Mancini and Jones have really put it together as this game goes on.
Give him the 37. We'll give him 8 on second down and 2 to go. Up the middle, the early handoff there to Mancini, and gets it across the 35 for a first.
Wasn't very pretty, didn't get too much, but it's enough to move the chains. It's another first down for St. Bernard's.
That's a first down for the Bernardians.
We'll stop the clock and move the chains on that one. Just enough to get the job done.
I think St. Bernard's might have caught a bit of a break there, Dan. You saw right at the start of that replay, Mancini slipped and fell, and his left knee actually touched the turf, but then they gave him another 3 yards as he got right back up.
Now, this time a bit of a botched handoff there, just not cleanly delivered. And with that, Groton-Dunstable able to wrap him up in the backfield. That was Mancini again.
St. Bernard's has had almost exclusively a ground-based offense, and when you have a little bit of an issue here on first down, see Mancini loses the handle. He's able to recover it as the ball gets handed to him, but he's not able to pick up anything in terms of yardage.
Sebastian Wells, the first to arrive for the Crusaders. Ryan Smythe there as well. 2nd and 11 it'll be. It'll be Mancini again. Bounces off the tackle on the right side. Still trying to move his way. Pushed forward a little bit. He'll be down around the 32-yard line. It's going to bring up 3rd down.
And as I was saying after the first down play, Dan, if you have basically an entirely rush-based offense, if you have one bad play, one play where you get nothing or you lose a little bit, this is a 4-yard gain on second down, which is ordinarily totally fine. If you run the ball, you get 4 yards, you're going to be just fine. But now it brings up a 3rd and 7. St. Bernard's probably needs to go to the air here.
But I would say they're very much in 4-down territory. 2 more 4-yard rushes will be fine for them.
Fair point.
But this time McGurk, he's going to run with it himself to the near side. McGurk's got a first down, 15, and pushed out of bounds. Just short of the 10-yard line.
First time today that Chris McGurk has taken off and run with it. He does a very good job. This is a designed quarterback sweep all the way. He doesn't even look downfield. He's got a lead blocker who's running pretty much untouched with him as well. Groton-Dunstable bit so hard on the play fake that an offensive lineman could have picked up the first down there. McGurk is, just a little bit quicker, so he's able to get a few more yards.
They've actually given him the 11-yard line, which makes it just a 1st and 10, but it was that close to the 10-yard line. The stick folk not taking a break just yet, as Mancini just wrapped around by the undershirt. That was all that stopped him from the end zone there.
I hope you didn't like that shirt, Chris, because now it's stretched out. Antonio Mancini's going to need to get a new garment at some point.
We've taken down at the 4-yard line. But if it wasn't for Andrew Raymond reaching out and grabbing that undershirt
and just hanging on.
If it wasn't for that, it would have been 6 on the board for the blue and gold. 2nd and 3. Another handoff this time. And Mancini reaches over the goal line. Touchdown, Bernardians!
Antonio Mancini's first rushing touchdown of the season. It's a 4-yard run for him. A really good drive for Mancini. This is just a nice, simple run right off the left tackle. He's hit right at the goal line and driven back, but he has the presence of mind to just reach forward. As soon as that ball crosses the plane of the goal, it's a touchdown. His arms were long enough, and then he fell forward. 6 more points on the board. And St. Bernard's answers the Groton-Dunstable score with one of their own.
This looks like, with the the mishap on the last extra point attempt. This looks like a prime opportunity to go for two, and indeed they will. So McGurk under center. We'll give it off to Damian Jones. He's got a lot of space on the right side, but can he be caught? Not before getting it over the goal line. 2-point conversion is good.
You were right, Dan. He had a lot of space on the right side, but Sam Dutile was closing in on him. Finally, Jones was able to find the space. He had the angle, and he just, advanced, and then he was able to get across the line. You see right here, he takes it out to the right. He extends. Dutile does everything he can, but Dutile's resistance is futile as Jones is able to get across the goal line and pick up 2 points. I may or may not have been sitting on that since I saw his name on the roster. I'm sorry.
You were not the only person who had that pun in their head.
Beat you to it.
Indeed you did. 21-6, Bernardians in front, 6:36 to go in the second quarter of play. It's still testament to Dutile. That's the junior quarterback slash linebacker for Groton-Dunstable. And we saw last night, on defense, that never give up attitude from Richard Santana, turning what would have been a sure touchdown for Leominster into naught.
I mean, that has to be almost the mindset of a guy who plays safety or corner, especially at a level like this. You have to always be chasing the play, always be trying to make that tackle.
Dutile, I thought for sure Jones was going to have that too with ease, but Dutile made it very difficult. As on the kickoff, this is Wolfery just, biding his time, looking for an opening to come to him, but the opening never comes to him. He'll be wrapped up at the 28.
Saw him, kind of dancing around there, looking for a hole, trying to find blocks in front of him, but the Bernardians were swarming, and ultimately they were able to take him down.
So 6:28 to go in the second quarter, 15-point deficit for Groton-Dunstable, but they had a really good drive last time down.
Really good drive, capped off by that big play on 4th and 5, the touchdown pass to Ryan Smythe. I wonder, Dan, if we might see Groton-Dunstable try to open it up a little bit more, go to the air. If anything else, if nothing else, it'll loosen up this St. Bernard's defense.
Finn Bernard is 3 for 5 for 60 yards. Smythe in motion. We saw him take the direct snap before, not this time on that. As there's a throw over the middle, incomplete. It split the two St. Bernard's running backs there playing defense, and Mancini and Jones. They were the closest ones to the ball.
I believe the pass was intended for John Madigan. First time we've called his name today, sophomore tight end, 6'3", one of the taller guys on the roster. You see right there, there are plenty of Bernardians in the area, a bit of a dangerous throw, but at the same time, Madigan had a step, so if the pass was a bit more accurate, would have been a first down. As it is, 2nd and 10.
Bernard coming from under center, pitches it out to Wolfery. Nope.
I'm sorry, that's the perfect call. Just nope. That's exactly what St. Bernard said there.
D just waiting for the turnaround there.
You run that toss sweep to the right side. You're looking for your right tackle and your tight end on the right side to make the blocks, and Stefano Allen just nope. Did they make their blocks? Nope. Did they hit their assignments? Nope. Stefano Allen got through that play immediately, and there was absolutely nothing Hunter Wolfery could do after he took the ball.
It's a loss of 5 yards. Brings up a 3rd and 15. Bernard looks to throw. That one's caught on the far side of the field. And the Crusaders will make up for it with another big play. Nate Bushnell gets the first down for the Crusaders.
Bushnell had a step on his defender when the pass was thrown. This time an accurate ball delivered by Bernard. And you see right there, the Bernardian falls down and allows Bushnell to pick up a ton of yards after the catch. Almost out to the midfield stripe. I'll spot him just shy of that, but it's a really good pitch and catch and a first down for the Crusaders. I keep getting cobwebs on my score sheet. How is that happening?
It's an age of things. And on first down, Wolfery not given the chance to go anywhere. You can see Stefano Allen in on the hit there, and so is Fabian Sosa.
I don't think I'm gesticulating that wildly, but maybe I just need to hold it a little closer.
That's a loss of 6 yards on that one. As you see, Wolfrey gets the carry, and he just does not have the opportunity to do anything. Sosa and Allen just straight into the backfield. Tag team takedown.
A loss of 6 yards for Groton-Dunstable.
Once again, Stefano Allen in the backfield. Now St. Bernard's will take a timeout.
St. Bernard's will take a timeout.
Gives us a chance to mention, folks, that this is the second game of our kickoff trifecta. We already saw Fitchburg beat Leominster last night from Doyle Field. You're watching right now St. Bernard's as they hold a 21-6 lead over Groton-Dunstable at the Bernardian Bowl. And tomorrow afternoon from Elliott Field, it'll be Fitchburg State University taking on Castleton. You see right there a 3 p.m. kickoff. If you're watching on TV right now, you can just turn off the TV, go to bed, enjoy a nice Sunday morning breakfast, and then turn it back on tomorrow. Or you can go to any of the services you see here, live.fatv.org, /education, Comcast Xfinity Channel 9, Fios Channel 36, or on your Apple TV, Fire TV, Roku boxes, or of course in the Apple and Android app stores. Plenty of ways to watch FATV, Dan.
You don't have to have a cable subscription to watch FATV. We've got so many other ways to access our coverage.
And that may be the prettiest moon I've ever seen at a football game. That's fake. I'm sorry. The little DreamWorks kid is sitting on the edge of that moon. That's not real. I refuse to believe that's real.
That's the tremendous production quality we bring to each and every broadcast.
That's right. And, you know, again, we've mentioned already this is a bit of a unique situation for us as we take it back down to the field for this critical second down, excuse me.
Bernard throws, intercepted. Mancini's got that one. Bring it across midfield to the 40, staying on his feet. And wrapped up at a 35-yard line.
I suggested at the start of the drive, Dan, that Groton-Dunstable might want to open it up, try to loosen up the St. Bernard's defense. Well, they went to the air and they just paid the price. Antonio Mancini jumped the route and made a great return after the interception. St. Bernard's will take over at the 35-yard line of Groton-Dunstable. Pass was just a little bit underthrown. Mancini was well aware of it. He was able to get in there, make the pick, and the big return as well.
So on first down, it's Damian Jones to the near side. Found some space, tried to make the cut move, stepped on the sideline.
And there are 2 flags as well. They came in at pretty much the same time, so I think 2 officials saw the same thing. I just heard Todd Robbins say that the referee was simulating a pile driver. It's not an inaccurate description, and I thought about stealing it without credit, but it might get back to him, so Todd made it funny. If you're just watching on FATV, thank you for not listening to WPKZ, but Todd Robbins just made it funny, and now you know.
As for the second straight night, WPKZ and FATV covering the same game.
This time we can actually hear them. Last night they got the fancy box last time because they're on the home side and they have the officials pointing to them. So there were 2 fouls against St. Bernard's. The one that's accepted is a hold. That'll back the Bernardians up.
And the hold is 10 yards from the spot of the infraction, which ends up being...
Well, they've enforced it as if it took place right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. Which happens sometimes.
That's true. So it'll be 1st and 20 now for St. Bernard's.
So in the backfield, lots of stuff happening, and ultimately leading to not much of anything. It's challenging to do play-by-play when you are in the middle of typing things and you don't have time to grab your binoculars.
Well, I can tell you what happened. Nate Jones took the handoff. There were 6,000 Crusaders in his face. He fended off 5,997 of them, and then the last 3 took him down as he fell forward to the line of scrimmage. Take a look at that replay. Am I wrong? I don't think I'm wrong. I may have slightly exaggerated for comedic effect, but I was not wrong.
Now this is McGurk running with it on the right side. He's got a lot of space to run with on the far side of the field.
Taken down at the 7-yard line.
7 yards from goal, he's finally taken down. That's a big recovery for the Bernardians.
That's a 38-yard run for McGurk. It's the second time today that St. Bernard's has gone with that quarterback sweep. At some point, Groton-Dunstable has to be aware of the possibility. But once again, Dan, they fake the handoff with Jones going one way, and then McGurk keeps it going the other. There is nobody in front of him. He's got plenty of blockers. Seems like everyone on the first and second levels for Groton-Dunstable bit on the play fake. McGurk wasn't even touched until he was inside the 10, and he's finally taken down at the 7. It'll be 1st and goal as St. Bernard's looks to go up by 3 scores.
Twice we've seen Chris McGurk run with it on the design, and both times I've liked what I've seen out of the run there, as this is to the left side, to the pylon. Damien Jones in there for a touchdown.
27-6 Bernardians.
St. Bernard's likes these stretch plays at the goal line, Dan. They just get it to Jones, try to get him around the corner to the outside, have him stretch the edge. See, right here, he's going to the left side. He's got one block from his left tackle, and then he just gets inside that near pylon. He knows exactly where he needs to go. He knows exactly where the ball needs to be. He gets just enough to put 6 points on the board.
Timeout St. Bernard's.
Bernardians will call their second timeout with 2:35 to go.
3rd touchdown of the day for Damian Jones. His 2nd on the ground, and of course he had that big punt return as well.
St. Bernard's now 21 plays for 157 yards, all on the ground. That's a 7.5 yard per carry average there.
And I mean, you know, Dan, when you've got a three-headed rushing attack like St. Bernard's has with Mancini and Jones and the quarterback McGurk, it's impressive.
Indeed it is, and that really does help. You know, Tom Bingham has always built his offense on the running game. We've seen a lot of that tonight. We've only seen them attempt one pass, really. So
now they have a 3-score lead with just about 2.5 minutes to play here in the second quarter, and it's worth mentioning as well that Groton-Dunstable will have to kick to them to start the third quarter. And there you see Jared Roberts on top of the FATV truck. We do just about everything we can, and we come prepared. When we got this truck, we knew we might need to put somebody up there. So we've got protection. He's safe. It's not like the old bread truck where, you know, we may or may not have totally illegally put people up there, but that was a decade ago. I'm sure the statute of limitations has run out, and if it hasn't, I'm joking. I do that. I exaggerate for comedic effect. I've done it before tonight.
Entertainment program. There's Robin Como on camera as well.
Fantastic work by the staff and volunteers of FATV as always. It is so good, Dan, to be back here live at the field doing these productions with FATV.
Indeed, it is a 2-point conversion attempt. It's going to be Mancini putting 2 more on the board for the Bernardians.
Conversion is good. 29-6 Bernardians.
29-6 the score now for St. Bernard's. You know, if you just looked at the divisions and you said, oh, you know, Groton-Dunstable's 2 divisions up, they're going to blow the Bernardians out. No, you look at this game right now, Dan, you would think that St. Bernard's is 2, 3, 4 divisions higher. They are simply outclassing Groton-Dunstable right now.
They've looked so much more comfortable running their offense thus far. Finn Bernard, he's had some throws, but he's not looked like 100% comfortable throwing. Wolfery has had a couple of decent runs, but there have been other times where he's just wrapped up immediately in the backfield. Groton-Dunstable, you know, just to think about age of program, if you will, Tom Bingham has been coaching this Bernardian team longer than Groton-Dunstable has had a football team.
That's it's a bit difficult. They're working from behind.
Now, Groton-Dunstable, it's not like they haven't had success in the past. They made the playoffs a couple of years ago. They were the 3 seed in Central 4. That was the year that Fitchburg was the #1 seed. Yeah, just in 2019, their last full season. 1-4 last year, though, so a bit of a step back. And obviously, just trying to rebound from the loss of seniors. Kicked away and muffed around the 20-yard line, and Wolfrey's just got to dive on that football and swallow it up and keep it away from the Bernardians.
You almost had some very prophetic words there, Dan, when you said kicked away, because that's what Hunter Wolfrey almost did. He muffed that kick, and then it hit his foot and bounced away from him. Any chance Groton-Dunstable had of getting back into this one was rolling away from Hunter Wolfrey there. He was able to fall on it. But now, Dan, if you're the Crusaders, obviously, there's nothing in the playbook that's going to get you 23 points in one fell swoop. But I think you have to, even if you don't put points on the board here, you have to move the ball. You have to show the potential to get back into this game, if absolutely nothing else.
It's been a struggle for Groton-Dunstable. They've had one really good drive, and a second one ended in an interception. But now Bernard going to heave it downfield, looking for Smythe, and incomplete. Mateo Rivera there on the far side with the coverage.
Rivera did a pretty good job that time staying with Smythe. Smythe maybe had a step, but he was cutting upfield, in toward the center of the field, and the pass was floating toward the sideline. You see there, Smythe is coming in and he's looking for the ball. It's already behind him. I'm a little surprised he didn't try to adjust his route. Maybe he just didn't see it.
I think he didn't see it till it was too late. The way he turned around at the end, it felt like he had no idea where it was until it had dropped behind him.
Yeah, he just cut maybe on that deep post, and he was looking for it, and the ball sailed to the other side.
Delayed handoff to Wolfrey, trying to get to that left flank. He's got a bit of space to work with. Tackle from behind, pushed forward, past the 35-yard line. It's a pretty good gain on second down.
Pretty good gain. As you said, Dan, the tackle from behind actually gave him another couple yards. Just got laid into here. We'll see it on the replay. He does that good cutback. He gets a nice block by Smythe to spring him. I think he was actually tripped up rather than hit from behind. But he fell forward nonetheless. Picks up an extra 2 yards just with the momentum. We'll call it 3rd down and 2 now for the Crusaders. About 95 seconds to play here in the first half.
Got 3 receivers out there. Bernard will just do the dump off to Wolfrey. That'll be good enough for the first. And Wolfrey making his way to the near side. Has some space to work with. Run for the sideline. And finally pulled out of bounds there by Mancini at the Bernardian 40-yard line.
Second time tonight, Dan, they've gone to that screen pass. This time they do it on 3rd and short. This is always going to be a dump off, and it's really well executed by Finn Bernard. Again, when you're the quarterback running the screen pass, your job is to draw that rush in, so he keeps drifting back. He creates the space for his tailback, and then he delivers the pass beautifully. And from there, it's just Wolfrey and the entire offensive line rushing downfield. A big, big gain for the Crusaders.
41 yards from goal, 82 seconds to get there. 4 receivers out there for Groton-Dunstable, and another dump off near side is Wolfrey again. He'll make his way out of bounds. That'll bring a stop to the clock with no gain on that one.
No gain for the Crusaders.
This time, rather than the screen, they just go with the swing pass. He's just coming out of the backfield on the flat. Bernard takes a cursory look downfield, but I think in his head he was always going to Wolfrey there. St. Bernard's was able to diagnose it. See, the difference there is on the screen, it's all about getting the offensive lineman in front of the receiver before he makes the catch. That time, he didn't have any blockers, and St. Bernard's was able to wrap him up.
2 receivers to the right on second down. Bernard with time will look to the right. That one will be complete, and again out of bounds, but it's only going to be a 1-yard gain. At least it stops the clock.
Our last chance is to get your 50-50 raffle ticket.
John Madigan made the catch there.
Remaining in the second quarter. Winner will be announced at halftime.
Bernard has a habit, Dan, of just staring down his receivers after he takes the snap. You know, he's far from unique in that regard, but you know, he takes the snap and you watch his eyes, he's pretty much exactly going in that direction. I think they've actually called an illegal shift here against Groton-Dunstable. Back them up 5 yards. So that negates the gain. Groton-Dunstable, too many men in the backfield actually. So it'll be 2nd down and 14? 15.
Something of that nature. Does not make things easier for the Crusaders. This one's going to be Wolfrey on the far side. He's finding the space to work with, and again, he's working his way to the sideline.
He actually ran into the side judge there as well. Bodies flying everywhere as Wolfrey was dragged out of bounds. Saw a bit of trouble there on the snap as well, but Bernard did a good job bringing it in. And then as he's thrown out of bounds, he runs right into the side judge there. Everybody takes a tumble. Fortunately, everybody gets right back up. You see there the Groton-Dunstable sideline, making sure, you know, everybody sees, look, we're trying to help him up. We're trying to help him up. We're good. We're good.
Brings up 3rd down for Groton-Dunstable. Bernard looking left side. That one's going to be caught and taken down just short of the marker, I do believe.
Based on the spot, he's a good yard shy. I thought his stretch got very close, but he's going to be about a yard shy of the line to gain. Clock continues to roll here. I believe I don't think the Crusaders are out of timeouts, but they are not playing with terribly much urgency.
Just seconds left here in the 2nd quarter.
So it brings up a 4th and about 3. Try to get it to Wolfrey on the ground to get the first. He's not going to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, if that's the play you have drawn up for 4th and 3, maybe it's okay that you didn't rush to the line, I suppose. They needed 3 yards. They handed it to Wolfrey going straight up the middle, and he got absolutely nothing. I think Brady Spidell was the first to get a hand on him. He was far from the last. 3 or 4 Bernardians were there to bring him down. And now I would assume, based on what we've seen from St. Bernard's, that they're going to hand the ball off to somebody and go to halftime. At least that's the plan.
Not a whole lot of urgency required. Up by 23 points, 8.7 to go in the first half of play. And this is, the Bernardians have just looked so much more comfortable. It's funny how you look at the number of yards in this game. It's actually pretty close. 157 to 145 in favor of the hosts, but sometimes statistics can be deceiving in that manner. But I think this is going to be a kneel down, and indeed it will be. Just going to take us to halftime on that.
That's going to be it here at the
We will go to the locker rooms with the score 29-6 in favor of St. Bernard's. You mentioned, Dan, the total yardage is pretty close. The score tells a much different story. St. Bernard's with a 3-score lead over Groton-Dunstable. A fantastic start to the season for them. You know, the offense has come in fits and starts. It hasn't been, you know, totally unstoppable. But really, Dan, especially when they've been given that short field, they've taken advantage of what Groton-Dunstable has given them.
Yeah, there are a couple of times that they have scored on drives in which they started in Groton-Dunstable territory, and they're taking advantage of that.
Candy stand, we have some snacks, all proceeds.
But still, a really well-played first half of the Bernardians. They looked so much more comfortable running their offense than the Crusaders did. The Crusaders, they don't look as comfortable passing, and the run game to Hunter Wolfrey is not working as well as they would like it to.
It's really come in fits and starts for Groton-Dunstable, and it seems like, you know, the entire offense runs through Hunter Wolfrey, and everybody knows it. They need to find that second guy, that backup, you know, that it doesn't have to be someone who's, you know, as good or as explosive as Wolfrey. They just need to find someone. Honestly, I think it comes from Ryan Smythe. You know, they've had some success, Dan, running the jet sweep with Smythe, running passes to him. You know, the touchdown pass, the big catch and run, that was by Smythe. I think if they can come up with some ways to get the ball in his hands a little bit more often, that'll open it up for Hunter Wolfrey. But of course, you know, it starts for them with stopping St. Bernard's. If St. Bernard's puts up 29 more points in the second half, Groton-Dunstable could have a perfect offensive half, and they're not going to win this game.
That's the challenge. St. Bernard's has done well defensively as well. I mean, holding them at bay as they can. A couple of really good plays for Groton-Dunstable in the first half. As we mentioned, that 40-yard touchdown pass to Smythe. But that's really the that's the big play for Groton-Dunstable.
That's pretty much it. St. Bernard's has had a number of big plays. Groton-Dunstable has had just the one. But as the teams head to the locker rooms, we will take the halftime break as well. 29-6 St. Bernard's at the half. You are watching St. Bernard's High School football right here on FATV. As the teams take the field for the third quarter of action, we welcome you back to the beautiful Bernardian Bowl here just off of John Fitch Highway in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. I'm John Gugerty, joined, of course, by Dan Bolak. St. Bernard's leading Groton-Dunstable by a score of 29-6. And Dan, if you look at the total stats, they paint a very different picture than the one you would see on the scoreboard.
Groton-Dunstable 145 yards of offense in this contest. St. Bernard's 157 yards, but there are, of course, many caveats to that. St. Bernard's had 2 drives start inside the Groton-Dunstable 35-yard line, so that won't lead to too many yards on those scores. And they also had a punt return for a touchdown as well.
St. Bernard's offense has pretty much done what has been asked of them, and they have, they've been given the short field a few times, and they've been able to get it into the end zone. They will be given the ball to start the third quarter again. Groton-Dunstable having to kick away while already down by 3 scores.
Does not make things any easier for this Crusader side.
And as we get ready for the third quarter of action, we see back set deep to return for St. Bernard's is Damian Jones. He had that punt return TD. And here with the call is Dan Bolak.
Indeed, so that will hop and take a bounce and skip around the 21-yard line. It's Damian Jones who will have the return on the far side. Jones ducks out of the tackle from Wolfrey. A couple other Crusaders will tackle him at the 40, around the 49-yard line.
Another good return by Jones as he shows his danger to the Crusaders right at the start of this third quarter. While we have a second, we want to thank once again all of the corporations who make FATV's remote productions possible. FATV Remote Productions are underwritten by Workers Credit Union, Rollstone Bank and Trust, the UMass Memorial Health Alliance Clinton Hospital, North End Subaru, Unitil, Minuteman Press, and the Sentinel and Enterprise. Thank you so much for your support.
So now St. Bernard's looking to put some more on the board. Mancini on first down, found a hole in the middle. Antonio Mancini, 25, 20, 10, 5, a stiff arm, and makes his way in.
St. Bernard's, Antonio Mancini makes it 35-6 Bernardians.
That point just defer to Patrick Ginnity. He's got the call there for the touchdown for the Bernardians, 35-6.
One play, 51 yards, 6 points. We talked about the explosiveness of Damian Jones. How about the explosiveness of Antonio Mancini? The second head in the 2-headed running attack of St. Bernard's shows that he can stand out all by his own if he needs to. And now with a 29-point lead, St. Bernard's will go back and try another extra point.
That is up and that is through, and it gives them exactly a 30-point lead.
St. Bernard's was victorious over Groton-Dunstable, back in March, the first game of the Fall 2 season. That was a 27-14 score. Right now, Dan, these look like two programs heading in very different directions.
Indeed, Groton-Dunstable would go on to go 1-4 in the Fall 2 season. They beat Clinton for their only win in Fall 2. Clinton went 0-5, and then Littleton, Maynard, Tingsboro, they fell to all 3 of those opponents. Littleton by a lot, Maynard by not as much, and Tingsboro was a rock fight, 10-3. Meanwhile, St. Bernard's, 28-8 over Clinton, 36-30 over Littleton. That was a thriller. Tingsboro, 41-19, wasn't close. West Boylston, who was the second best team in Pod 3, 42-19. That was surprisingly, that was actually a bit of a surprise that it was not as close as that. Then Maynard, who for 1 year was going to be St. Bernard's Thanksgiving rival, but then COVID happened.
Lots of things were going to happen, but then COVID happened.
At the very least, though, at least they got to play that last game of the season against their rival, Groton-Dunstable, the same with Tingsboro. That one rolls in the ground, picked up at the 26-yard line. It's going to be Bushnell, the up man who takes it, gets to the 35 before he stumbles and falls.
Looked for the Crusaders like they might be able to get pretty good field position, but unfortunately for them, Bushnell couldn't keep his legs under him.
Now Groton-Dunstable's going to need to put some points on the board and fast, because 30 points is where that mercy rule starts to kick in, but I don't think that's till the fourth quarter.
They head back out onto the field, led by their junior quarterback, Finn Bernard. 7 of 12 for 114 yards and a touchdown in the first half. Of course, he was picked off as well. We'll probably see more of the aerial attack for Groton-Dunstable as they try desperately to get back into this one.
They'll need to try some different things there. As on first down, swing out to the far side is complete, and making his way upfield past the 35 to about the 40 is Harry Palmer.
Palmer, the junior receiver. I think that's the first or second time we've called his name tonight. Almost all of Groton-Dunstable's offense has run through Hunter Wolfrey.
Just trying to get these yard markers right. Looks like he got to about the 38. That's going to be the third catch of the night for Harry Palmer. Basically the second favorite receiver of Bernard. This time a delayed handoff to Wolfrey, and trying to hope that that might throw the St. Bernard's defense off enough. It did not. And it looks like they lost most of the yards they gained on that first down.
Lost a good chunk of yards there. It started with Darnell Woodson getting into the backfield. Woodson very slow getting up, and he's actually going to hobble off to the sideline. Fabian Sosa will check in. You see there, as soon as Woodson made that tackle, he was up and grabbing at that left calf. Might just be a cramp or something. Doesn't look to be too serious. We'll keep an eye on him, let you know if he gets back into the game here.
Wolfrey's had some good runs, but he's been wrapped up in the backfield so many times that he's only got 18 yards on the ground tonight. That one is caught by Smythe, and Smythe trying to cut up the 40 and now turns towards the 45-yard line. He's going to have enough for a first down.
Well, Dan, I was talking about it at halftime. You know, getting the ball in the hands of Ryan Smythe has been the way Groton-Dunstable has created most of their big plays on offense. This time you see Bernard is staring him down. Smythe is able to settle down in that open spot in the zone defense and just find the open yardage, pick up the first down. The Crusaders are moving.
So the 45-yard line it goes, 9:30 to go, third quarter, 36-6. St. Bernard's in front. Bernard will throw left side. That one's going to be caught at midfield. Taken down there is Sam Dutile, but I believe there was a flag as well.
I'll check the infraction. There is a flag near the area where Dutile was tackled. An ineligible man downfield against Groton-Dunstable. You don't see that too often, but that's a 5-yard penalty. They'll assess that from the original spot, and it'll be 1st and 15.
And it means Utile doesn't get his name in the stat log, not just yet at least.
Tough to tell there on the replay, you know, who's eligible, who's not, who got a little too far down. It's usually an overzealous offensive lineman on those ineligible man downfield plays.
Especially if the play takes a little too long to develop. And that one high snap, Bernard able to pull that one in. Smythe will make the catch on the near lateral pass. And that's a great yard after completion pickup there for Smythe. Gets into Bernardian territory.
You talk about those slow developing plays. That was a textbook example of one. You've got the high snap. Bernard has to bring it in, re-grip the football, and then deliver the pass. It's very low. Smythe does a good job just keeping it off the ground, and then he's able to pick up all of the yardage after the catch. Makes back the penalty, gets to the first down into Bernardian territory. Dan, would it be too much of a joke to say that the Crusaders are on the march?
They are, and Bernard trying to stifle the Bernardians, at least on this drive. He's now 10 for 15 for 147 yards through the air. He's starting to look more comfortable throwing passes as he starts to get into his rhythm. This is Wolfrey on the carry, and the running game still not working. No gain for Wolfrey on that one, swallowed up by the Bernardian line.
You've got to hope, if you're Groton-Dunstable, when you start going to the air, especially on first down, that it will open up that running game, especially from the shotgun formation. That time St. Bernard's did a good job sniffing it out, a great job shedding the block by Brady Spidell. He was blocked pretty well, but he was able to just push the center aside, get to the ball carrier, and stop him in the line of scrimmage. You see Spidell there, number 44. He's having a good night from that linebacker position.
Smythe will make his way to the right side of the field. Bernard almost fumbling that one. Look at Damian Jones jumping up in there, reading that route.
That's 3 or 4 times tonight. Groton-Dunstable has tried that quick swing pass to the wide receiver immediately after the snap. That time Jones saw it coming.
Also a bit of discussion on whether or not that was a backwards pass or not. Ultimately, the ball ended up out of bounds. They'll rule it was an incomplete pass that went just barely forward.
I think that was the correct call.
Might have been a little more deceiving with Jones just leaping in there.
I think the officials initially let the play play out, rather. Ball just rolled out of bounds, but they ultimately correctly ruled it an incomplete pass.
Now Bernard pump fakes, lost a handle on the football.
I think that was a very late decision to hold on to the pass. I don't even think that was a pump fake. He wanted to throw it and then changed his mind as his arm was going forward. We'll take a look at it again. Yeah, I think he actually lost the handle on that ball as he was pulling it back down. I think that, well, I'm having flashbacks to a certain Oakland Raiders playoff game, but I think that would be correctly ruled an incomplete pass, but they're going to call it a fumble. Either way, it's a short loss, and it brings up a 4th down, for which Groton-Dunstable must go.
Don't have much of an option here. Brings the ball. Actually, they've actually gone and respawned it on the 41. I think they did, in fact, call it an incomplete pass at the end, but now Bernard's going to throw right side, and that one is going to be incomplete, just way too low.
That was very low, but you see, as he's getting up, Nate Bushnell is grabbing at his face mask, beseeching almost, like, why couldn't I bring that in? I think he got his hands on it, but it would have been a heck of a catch by Bushnell. We'll take a look at it again here.
He's probably like, oh, that's good.
Pass is going to come in very low, and it actually hits the ground before Bushnell can get to it. He maybe thinks he could have made that catch, and maybe he could have, but it would have been a very, very difficult catch. Can't blame him at all for not being able to make it.
Can't blame him too much. Here's on 1st down. It's a big defensive play there for Groton-Dunstable at the very least.
Mancini driven backwards.
Looks like they'll give forward progress to, at the very least, the 39-yard line, but it's a loss of a couple.
Derek Liedberg and Tommy Wong in on the hit for the Crusaders. It'll be 2nd and 13 for St. Bernard's, and Dan, as much as they want to keep the ball on the ground and keep it, just grind the clock and get to the 4th quarter, get into that mercy rule situation, this is a chance for them to have a bit of a statement game.
Show everyone what they can do. Mancini trying to go up the middle again. He's going to get back to the original marker from 1st down, get those 2 yards back, and it'll bring up 3rd and 10.
St. Bernard's did go 6-0 in the Fall 2 schedule, but if you're in Division 7 and you weren't taking St. Bernard seriously, you are being put on notice by the performance tonight of the Bernardians.
The next 3 weeks, the Bernardians will be venturing out of the Central Mass opponents that we normally see. Stoneham, South Hadley, and Bedford are the next 3 games that this Bernardian squad will take on. Bedford at home on October the 1st. As McGurk running in motion left side, finds some space there. And as I mentioned, McGurk, I really like what he can do on the ground. They don't go to him too often, but when they do, he gets some yardage.
That's something that they keep in the back of the playbook. I think they like to bust it out on 3rd and long. That's the 2nd time we've seen it on a 3rd and long. The play action fake and then the quarterback sweep out to the left side. This time, Groton-Dunstable at least has a bit of an idea of it. Ryan Smythe on the defensive side of the ball tries to catch up with the quarterback McGurk, but not before he's able to pick up the 1st down.
When they think they've got Mancini figured out and Jones figured out, there's McGurk as the joker. He gets a 1st down for the blue and gold. As McGurk will roll out and No, it's a handoff to Mancini, excuse me, as he'll get about 5 yards on that one on the run up the middle.
And you see there, Dan, back on the first play of this drive, Mancini was blown up for a loss in the backfield, but now, you know, Groton-Dunstable's defensive line gets a little bit tired. The offensive line for St. Bernard starts feeling themselves a little bit. Plus, they're opened up a little bit because they're more aware of the rushing threat of McGurk. That creates space in the middle of the field. Get back to your bread and butter. Hand it off up the middle to Mancini.
About 5 minutes to go, third quarter, 30-point lead for the Bernardians, 36-6. 2nd and 5 coming here. 2 in the backfield. I've noticed they've been easing off on Damian Jones and using him because this is a different running back there. Taking the hit there, right in the thigh. That was P.J. Feely. He had a touchdown run against this Crusaders side back in March.
First carry of the game, first opportunity for us to mention the absolutely wonderful name of Paris James Feely, who goes by PJ. Takes a big hit to the left side there. Good job just to hang on to the football.
Gets 1 yard on that one, his first carry of the night. And, you know, with that 30-point lead, they don't need to push Damian Jones too much, you know, preserve him for future contests. It'll be Mancini getting some of the work there. Bad snap, and McGurk able to pick that up, try to push his way forward. Ultimately gets back to the line of scrimmage without bringing up 4th down.
McGurk very lucky there, able to recover after the bad snap, actually get back to the line of scrimmage, pick up a little bit of a gain. But it will bring up 4th down. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Bernardians punt here, but at the same time, you're inside your opponent's 40-yard line, and the game isn't actually over yet, so you may as well go for it. Give you a chance to practice these 4th and 3s.
I don't have St. Bernard's as having attempted a 4th down conversion tonight.
I don't think they've needed to. They punted it away a couple of times early on, but other than that, they've been moving pretty efficiently.
So this is the handoff there, and there is Damian Jones to try to get that 1st down. He's going to get inside the 35-yard line, fighting for yardage. The 35 is what he needed, so he got the 1st down.
You mentioned, Dan, St. Bernard's had not really been going to Damian Jones, and he's actually coming up. Well, he's not coming up. He's just scooting to the sideline after picking up that 4th down. They're looking at that left leg, maybe the calf. Possible that it could just be a cramp, but that's a scary situation for St. Bernard's. Jones had been on the sideline for most of this drive. They bring him back out for 4th down.
Feels like they've been using him in much the same way that the Red Raiders were using Anthony Aquendo, especially after he was cramping up last night. So this is Mancini right up the middle. And Mancini's got some holes. He's got some space inside the 10. And finally wrapped up by Dutile at the 5.
And a flag comes down as the tackle is made. Dutile may have grabbed a face mask or a horse collar or something. Antonio Mancini making the most of the opportunities he's given. Already 1 touchdown on the ground, plus an interception defensively. It's a face mask against Groton-Dunstable. Not that much yardage will be assessed, actually, just a couple of yards because the run already got to the 5. We'll see if we can spot it at the end of this replay.
I know those hands got way too high there. And yeah, no, it's pretty obvious from that.
Oh, yeah. Reach around with the right arm, grab at the face mask. You can't do that. You know, we need the crowd from Doyle Field last night to bust out a "you can't do that" chant.
So initially spotted at the 8, given 4 yards on the penalty, so 4 yards to goal on this one. As around the left side, it's Feely to the end zone. Touchdown, Bernardians. He'll get in on the scoring fun, and that'll make it 42-6.
42-6, Bernardians.
PJ Feely, his first touchdown of the season, comes from 4 yards out. Takes the ball on the sweep running left, cuts it back upfield when the edge isn't there, gets behind his big offensive line, picks up the touchdown. Also want to make mention you saw Darnell Woodson in there celebrating the touchdown. He left with an injury earlier, but he's back out. Good to see him back on the field.
Tom Zach will look to kick the extra point here. Puts that one up and gets just enough. 43-6 the score with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. So while we have a moment, I think it'd be a good time to thank some of our crew that's been helping us out here today.
Absolutely. Our director tonight is the incredible Nate Glennie, the executive director of Fitchburg Access Television. We also have Travis Falk doing, just about everything, audio, graphics, tech support.
Matt Sinclair is in the truck as well. He's doing replay. Our camera operators, we saw Jared Roberts and Robin Como earlier. Kevin Newey and Todd Govin are here as well on the camera.
Plus there's you and me. We're okay. We're fine.
It's the first time I think I've ever been able to, recite the crew by memory.
Real quick, Dan, before this kickoff, we want to give our sincerest apologies to the Groton-Dunstable Crusaders and specifically Marlon Metellus. Our roster has been incorrect, and we've actually been, every time we've called Sam Dutile's name tonight, it's actually been Marlon Metellus. We want to give him his proper credit and apologize for that. We will do better in the future. It's the roster's fault, not ours. But we do apologize. Marlon Metellus has been having a good night.
As we say in the old computer science world, garbage in, garbage out. So the kickoff here will be from Douglas Dyer.
Dyer's got a leg on him. We saw the punt earlier tonight that went for 50-something yards. This kick is picked up at the 10-yard line.
Around the 10-yard line, it's picked up and brought to around the 38-yard line. Good return there by Wolfrey.
One of the luxuries of the 37-point lead for St. Bernard's is that you can just, let's see what the backup place kicker's got. Dyer's probably been bugging the coaches like, Coach, let me kick off. Coach, let me kick off. It's finally like, okay, we're up by 37 points, Doug. You can kick off. You did a good job.
That could be really huge down the line, especially if you have more than one option.
Yeah. Having that big, strong leg as a field goal option can't hurt.
Wolfrey on first down, gets the 45, stands up, tries to spin around, look for another path, but 45's as far as he'll get as the Bernardian reinforcements come in and stop his progress.
I'm a little surprised, Dan, that we still see Hunter Wolfrey taking this much of the offense for Groton-Dunstable. He's been the guy they go to just about every play, probably 6 or 7 times out of 10 for Groton-Dunstable. The call is to give the ball to Wolfrey. You're down by 37 points here, and you're still running it with him.
Still to Wolfrey again. He loses the football. It so looked like, no, he did not. I think that was an old mistake there.
I think he was brought down before the ball popped loose. Gets just out to the midfield stripe, and it'll be a first down for Groton-Dunstable.
Gets to midfield. I saw something flying out of his hands or thereabouts.
I think you saw a moth flying in front of your binoculars, to be honest.
We've seen a couple of those tonight, haven't we?
A couple. Is that big one still around, by the way?
Yeah, blame that, please. 40 seconds to go in the third quarter of play.
I do want to say we've been having some fun at the ground's expense, but it is really neat getting to call a game here from St. Bernard's again. I mentioned it's been a few years from me, the first time for you. This is, oh goodness, Dan, you've got to be getting close to a dozen press boxes you've called games out of now, isn't it? Maybe 2?
It's like, maybe not necessarily press boxes, but definitely different facilities that I've been around to. Because after all, I don't do too many, I haven't traveled for that many football games, but I've done to a lot of basketball games, a couple ice hockey games. As this is Bernard, he finds Smythe on the left side at the 45-yard line. Gets a couple extra yards. They'll mark him at the 43. That'll be the last play of the third quarter.
And as the third quarter comes to an end, we have a moment to let you know that there is so much to watch on your community access station. You can check out quality FATV programs such as Barber and You, Inside Fitchburg, Chess Chat, Forks Over Fitchburg, Discussing Fitchburg Now, and many, many more. FATV also covers many local events, including Memorial Day ceremonies, graduations, local high school and collegiate sports. You can see there Forks Over Fitchburg, one of the many fine programs here on FATV. You can also, of course, watch local high school and collegiate sports. That's what we're doing right now. You can watch local government meetings and some of the best local election coverage around. Visit fatv.org for schedules to access video on demand on your time and, of course, view our live streams. And, of course, we want to let you know while we're talking about all of the fine productions here on FATV, this is just the second game of the Kickoff trifecta. Trademark pending on that one. I like it. I think we're going to trademark it. We will have tomorrow afternoon Fitchburg State University taking on Castleton, a 3 p.m. kickoff right here on FATV. And, of course, we already brought you Fitchburg High School victorious over Leominster in the 139th installment of the rivalry. St. Bernard's, I would say, probably victorious. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to reach out, say St. Bernard's probably victorious. So tomorrow afternoon, Fitchburg State goes for the sweep of the Kickoff trifecta. The Kickoff trifecta could actually hit tomorrow at 3 right here on FATV. What more could you want? If you actually bet on the Kickoff trifecta, by the way, seek help. Just saying.
Do we have that gambling number available somewhere?
Give it time. It's only a matter of time before, Max Preps or something decides there's money in a partnership with FanDuel. Does FanDuel still exist? It's all DraftKings now, isn't it?
Yeah. I can tell you they've spotted it right between the 42 and the 43. It looks like it's smack dab in the middle of those two lines.
I would say tail on the 42. Sounds right.
Now, a question in my head as I've been watching this Groton-Dunstable team play, it felt like they called a timeout, and then I saw the official just state, oh, to heck with it, and then...
You saw the official gesture, oh, the heck with it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're right. I misuse a word once a season.
That's fine.
He gestured to heck with it, and it's like, no, we'll give the timeout, fine, whatever.
I suppose they'll go back to 12 minutes on the clock. I think that's the gesture there. It will be 3rd down and 3 for Groton-Dunstable. They need to get right to the 40-yard line. 43-6 St. Bernard's to the lead. Motion to the near side for the Crusaders. Half a dozen Bernardians jumped. Discipline hasn't been a major issue for St. Bernard's. We saw it earlier. I think it was on one of the conversion attempts. St. Bernard's jumped. This time, however, Dan, it's, in the scheme of the game is over, but you still have to play to the situation, and jumping offside on 3rd and 3 like that, you don't like it.
It's not helping matters.
There's always something for the film room. We were talking about that at the end of last night's game against Leominster for Fitchburg High School. That is something for the film room. 1st and 10 Crusaders now after the penalty. Handoff goes to the near side. Spun around and driven back is Hunter Wolfrey. His painful evening continues. He's had a few big plays, mostly on screen pass receptions actually, but on the ground it just really has not been there on a consistent basis. Take a look at this one again, Dan.
And really, I have a legitimate question for Groton-Dunstable. Who the heck is your backup tailback?
It's a good question. There are plenty of guys on the roster listed with RBs next to their name.
The thing is, though, it's like you have to have a contingency plan because if something happens to your lead guy, what the heck are you going to do?
One would think.
Otherwise, you're going to have to go all Northbridge on us and go pass heavy.
2nd down and 11. Pass to the far side is complete. Toby Wells, his first catch of the game. Picks up 5 or 6 yards. It'll bring up 3rd and 6 or 7 yards. Call it 3rd and 7. I feel good about 3rd and 7. You like 7?
Yeah, I like 7.
Okay, 3rd and 7.
I like 7. The sheet likes 3rd and 7.
There you go.
Works out well enough.
So 3rd down, and by unanimous consent, it is 7 for Groton-Dunstable. 10.5 minutes or so to play in this one. Handoff goes to Wolfrey, looking for space up the middle. This time it's sort of there for him. He's able to get across the 30-yard line. Unfortunately for him, he needed to get to the 27 for a 1st down. But, you know, small victories. It'll bring up 4th down and call it 3. At 2. 4th and 2.
Wolfrey has 3 catches for 36 yards. I have him as 21 carries for 34 yards. I mean, he's gained a lot of yards. He's probably gained at least 70 on the ground. He's just lost a bunch more, you know, with plays getting blown up in the backfield. That's happened a few times.
Now on 4th down, he's looking to get a big gainer, turns the corner across the 20 to the 15, finally dragged down inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal for Groton-Dunstable. They're inside the red zone, I believe, for the first time tonight after that big 4th down run for big number 24, Hunter Wolfrey.
After all, the 1 touchdown Groton-Dunstable got was on a 40-yard pass. That's one of the bigger runs there for Wolfrey, up to 56 yards on the night.
So the Crusaders knocking on the door, looking to score their 2nd offensive touchdown, get a little bit more respectability on the scoreboard. 1st and goal for them at the St. Bernard's 7. Motion to the far side goes Smythe. They hand it to him on the jet sweep. He fumbles it, doesn't actually lose the ball, but he's not able to focus on the hole. And he's finally driven down as he tries to turn upfield. Smythe kind of lost the handle, Dan, and he was juggling that one as he turned to the corner. Very lucky not to lose the football there.
Trying to do something there, and just, you know, losing the handle, as you said. I think he ended up gaining about a yard out of it, but not much more than that.
It'll be 2nd and goal for Groton-Dunstable, still with all their offensive starters on the field. Play action fake, rolling to his right as Bernard throws for the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown Crusaders. Nate Bushnell with the reception.
At the end of the day for Groton-Dunstable, I think their biggest successes have come with the passing game, and Bushnell able to pull that one in to get a 2nd touchdown on the board against this tough Bernardian team.
And really, Dan, for all the times they've handed the ball to Hunter Wolfrey, how many times has Groton-Dunstable gone to play action today? I'm pretty sure you could count it on one hand and have fingers left over.
Not a whole lot there. The clock keeps running because we're in the mercy rule situation, which is 30 points. Although conversion would bring it to 29. But
2-point conversion attempt thrown to the end zone, caught by Smythe. 2-point conversion is good, so it is 43-14.
As we've learned, though, once the mercy rule is declared and the clock starts running like that, it's not going to stop. So even though the deficit's 29, it'll keep on running.
And, you know, to be quite honest, 29-point deficit with 7.5 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. Let's keep that clock rolling. I'm fine with that. I think I'm okay with that.
That's a pretty recent rule. They've only put that in the last few years, I believe.
It's a good rule.
Yeah, 2019, I think, is probably when it was.
So it is 43-14, St. Bernard's with the lead. Clock continues to roll as Groton-Dunstable gets ready to kick this away. We want to invite you, of course, everyone, to follow FATV on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all your favorite social media platforms. And I get my one plug a game, and I'll take it right here. You can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/the_gook. One of these days I'm going to send Dan an image, and we'll have a graphic for that, I promise. Twitch.tv/the_gook. I'm funny. Sometimes. Kick is away. It is a low bouncing thing, picked up on a bounce, eventually at the 15-yard line. Flag goes down at about the 25, so I think this is all coming back. But for right now, finally brought down across the 40 is Damian Jones.
Damian Jones is a long kickoff return.
Flag is back down at about the 26-yard line.
Guardians take the ball at the 45-yard line.
Players on both sides taking a knee. I believe that is Jones who is down. Dan, did it look to you like he just, no, I apologize. That's a Groton-Dunstable player who's down.
I know Jones stopped and dropped, basically, after trying to cut out of the way of Wolfery, who's trying to make the tackle, as the Groton-Dunstable player in question is Caden Wolfery.
Caden, the younger brother of Hunter. Presumably, Hunter's a senior, Caden's a sophomore. They have the same unique last name. We're making an assumption there, but I feel safe. Good to see him getting off the field under his own power.
Both the Wolferys are hockey players, from my recollection. I believe Hunter's a forward and Caden is a goaltender. So St. Bernard's was called for a block in the back, which will march them to the line that they will start this possession on.
It'll be 1st and 10 for St. Bernard's back at their own, let's call it the 16. I feel good about that. Always fun when there are no, single yard line markers or hash marks or anything fancy like that. As we get close to 5 minutes to play in this one, St. Bernard's, of course, with the commanding lead. First down handoff goes to the fullback straight up the middle. Nothing doing there. He's driven backwards and down and never actually tackled, but his forward momentum was very much stopped. First carry of the night for Cole Blair, as St. Bernard's has brought in plenty of backups here.
Yep, as we saw, Salvi Bellotta took the snap as well. He's just a sophomore.
Want to remind you folks, Chess Chat, one of the many programs here on FATV. Mondays at 7. That's on the public channel. Channel 8 if you are on Comcast, and 35 if you are on Verizon. Thank you. I never had Verizon when I was living in Fitchburg, so I got it eventually. 2nd down and 9 for St. Bernard's. Bellotta takes the snap. Hands off once again to the fullback. Not much doing there for him. St. Bernard's is more than content, I think, to just hand the ball off a few times and, let's keep this clock rolling. Obviously, it's going to keep rolling, but let's just play it safe. Let's go home in 4 minutes. I think that's the mindset for St. Bernard's right now, and when you're up by 29 points, you can do that. And of course, we want to invite you, we've mentioned it already, you can be part of the incredible crew here at FATV, volunteering for production events such as this, such as the live events we cover, many political events, parades, celebrations, all of that stuff. It's a great way to learn a skill, maybe discover a lifelong passion like it has been for me. Volunteer at FATV, all the information here at fatv.org. Back to live action here, spinning out of tackles, pushing his own blocker out of the way, and then losing the football is PJ Feely. There's a scrum for it. We'll see who comes up with it.
Ultimately, all those moves that Feely was making, he ended up running into Salvi Bellotta, who ended up being the biggest factor on that stoppage for Groton-Dunstable. It was accidentally 10 against 12.
So the 3rd down run loses plenty of yardage. St. Bernard's is still sending the offense back out onto the field, though. I'm surprised they're not punting here. Maybe they're just worried about the long snap, given how far deep they are in their own territory. Maybe their plan is to call timeout. Given the way the guys are huddled up there, I think their plan is to run down the play clock as much as possible and then call timeout. Just see how much of this running clock they can take off here before the officials step in and say, hey, you got to at least pretend to play football for a couple minutes.
Now Tom Bingham will call time. Stop the clock with 2:07 to go. 43-14, the Bernardians lead.
Taking just as much time as possible for St. Bernard's before finally taking that timeout. We'll see, once again, they send out the punting unit, and Douglas Dyer will kick it away. Dyer, of course, had that really impressive 57-yard, I think it was, punt early on in this one.
He's shown some good leg on the opportunities he's had to put his foot on the ball. Dyer is just a junior, tight end, defensive end. He's listed on the roster. So we mentioned Nick Tomczak is the other player who's been kicking as well, also a junior. It's great to have options.
So Dan, it occurs to me that with Fitchburg and Leominster playing, first game of the season and Thanksgiving every year, at least that's the plan going forward, this kickoff trifecta might be an actual thing for a while. I'm having fun. You liking it so far?
I'm enjoying it.
All right. Well, we still got one to go. Let's see how we feel tomorrow. Dyer's kick is away. Another well-booted ball taken in at the 45 and immediately tackled there. Nice.
Cam Barlow ended up pulling that one in.
And that was Mancini who actually made the tackle. Antonio Mancini has been everywhere for St. Bernard's tonight, especially in this second half as they've salted this one away. Now Groton-Dunstable will come out, still with the clock rolling, of course. Time for them to take maybe a couple shots downfield, put some points on the board, feel a little bit better about themselves, but this one, of course, has been basically over for the entire quarter. Bernard back to pass on first down, throws for Smythe over the middle, breaks out of one tackle, into Bernardian territory, still driving forward. He's finally going to be brought down at the 25. That's a big pitch and catch for Groton-Dunstable. I find it interesting that the officials are still making the stop the clock signal even though we're in running time. I guess they're just trained to do it. It's a first down.
Rather have the mechanics go and whatever than forget them when you actually need them.
That's a fair point. Back to passes Bernard. They set up that screen for Wolfrey again. Another big game for him. He blocked through the second level, finally dragged down at about the 5-yard line. If the Crusaders hurry up, they might get a chance to get the ball in the end zone here. Still 20 seconds for them. Chance for Groton-Dunstable to practice the hurry-up offense, if nothing else. It'll be first and goal, Groton-Dunstable at the Bernardian 7-yard line. They've got time for one more play before we all pack up and go home. Bernard back to pass, looking to his left, throws for the corner of the end zone, wide open, caught for the touchdown. That's Harry Palmer with the catch on the final play of the game. Makes the score 43-20 in favor of St. Bernard's. It's a well-thrown ball to a wide-open receiver. And they are not even going to go for the conversion. They're just going to say that's the end of the game. So 43-20 is your final score. And honestly, Dan, it got to be a 23-point game at the end of that. And that turned into a very flattering scoreline for Groton-Dunstable.
At the end of the day, just a couple of scores late to make it a little more respectable. Groton-Dunstable starting to get their mojo at the very end, but still St. Bernard's was by far the better team tonight. Although offensively, because of all those drives at the end, 276 yards for Groton-Dunstable overall to 262 for St. Bernard's. But again, many caveats. St. Bernard's averaging 7.7 yards a carry tonight as a team.
I think that's good. If you average more than 7.5 yards per carry as a team, I think that's good. Dan, this was a very, very impressive performance by St. Bernard's on offense, on defense, with special teams. If you were not paying attention to St. Bernard's, you have been put on notice. This is a very good Division VII football team.
St. Bernard's could be one of the favorites. Them and Northbridge, who will play each other in Week 8 of this regular season, are probably the two favorites in Division VII, at least out of Central Mass teams. And with the new statewide playoff system, they could draw each other in the state championship game. And for St. Bernard's, a 23-point win. That's more than the 14-point cap on the margin of victory, so they get maximum points for this game as well.
St. Bernard's will take on Littleton next Friday. Algonquin on the 24th. I'm sorry, St. Bernard's takes on Stoneham next Friday. South Hadley on the 24th. Both of those games on the road. It is Groton-Dunstable facing Littleton and Algonquin. I apologize for that.
Funny how it's another Division 7 team Groton-Dunstable will be playing in the Tigers of Littleton, and then Algonquin, who is currently nicknameless, a Division 2 team. That will be the toughest test in terms of divisions, but Algonquin was only 1-5 last year as well.
For the Groton-Dunstable faithful, not a terribly impressive night for them. They did put up a few points in the end, give them something to feel good about, but for St. Bernard's, Dan, you've got to feel really, really good about this game. Again, coming off the 6-0 record in the Fall 2 campaign earlier this year, St. Bernard's is undefeated 7-0 in 2021. They, again, look to be a very, very formidable football team.
Yep, they came into this season tied with the longest winning streak in Central Mass with Northbridge and Neshoba. Each have won their last 7 contests, make it 8 now for the Bernardians. And just a tremendous performance on the ground. 34 carries, 262 yards, 3 touchdowns for Damian Jones, 2 on the ground, 1 on the punt return. Antonio Mancini, 16 carries, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. PJ Feely had a touchdown as well. Chris McGurk looked pretty comfortable running the ball as a quarterback, 4 carries for 73 yards. For Groton-Dunstable, I mean, I still want to see more than just Hunter Wolfrey running the ball, but Finn Bernard, 15 for 23 through the air for 192 yards. He finished with 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. Turned into a fairly solid performance for the junior quarterback, and Groton-Dunstable's got at least a solid arm slinger who, you know, is just going to get better as time goes on.
There's definitely potential for growth there for Groton-Dunstable. Wasn't there night to night. Maybe in the future they'll be able to put up a better fight. But for now, St. Bernard's feels really good as they go forward, and we feel really good about this game. Thank you, folks, so much for watching. We want to let you know one more time before we sign off, tomorrow afternoon, a 3 p.m. kickoff. The kickoff trifecta could actually hit if Fitchburg State can bring home a victory over Castleton. No guarantees, of course. Nothing is certain in life, but we're going to root for it. You see right there, tomorrow at 3, Fitchburg State versus the Spartans of Castleton. That's right here on FATV. But for now, I think we will bid you adieu. So, for Dan Bolek, I am John Gugerty saying thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time right here on FATV.
I guess I made a new friend, but I'm never going to see him again.